Is your business protected against the threat of malicious litigation and frivolous lawsuits? Are you sinking company profits into marketing campaigns that do nothing to contribute to the growth of your business? Bottled Business Sense provides practical business perspectives that uniquely emphasize both legal and media marketing strategies to protect and ensure the longevity of your business. Now, whether you're trying to provide a startup business with some level of stability or an established business with foolproof asset and estate protection, or simply attempting to get a better return for your business marketing dollars, Bill Bernard and Rick Moscoso will expose potential pitfalls to ensure the security and growth of your business, free from unwanted expense and the threat of litigation. You'll learn how to implement marketing and protection tools equal to those used by today's most successful corporations. Let's join Bill and Rick for today's Bottled Business Sense show.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday at 10 a.m. here on the Bottled Business Sense show. I am Rick Moscoso, one of your co-hosts for the program. We want to welcome all of our returning viewers and listeners out there. And we have a little bit of a different show today. And, we're a simulcast show where we talk about business, legal, and marketing aspects of your business so you can run your business safely, efficiently, profitably, and really have fun as you set out to do it. But today we're going to feature WFB Legal Consulting's Bill Bernard and a new product that I've been helping him develop for the past few months, and it's really a brainchild of Bill's that he's had for a little bit, but we've reframed it, refreshened it. And, I'm really excited to hear what Bill has to say about it, some of the background things. And so with that being said, let's bring Bill onto the show, introduce Bill. He can tell you a little bit about his background, just touch on his background, and we'll get into what this new product is all about. So welcome, Bill, to the show this morning.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. Appreciate it. Glad to be here as always. I think it's best to start off by just saying that this is a new website. And really, it offers a service more so than a product. But it's a service I've offered ever since WFB Legal Consulting was formed almost 10 years ago. Decided to devote one aspect of my platform, my business attorney platform, concerning estate planning, to a separate site in addition to the WFB Legal Consulting site. And there's reasons for that, which I think we'll probably get into on the show today. And those reasons primarily are because I want a place for a family who needs a standard estate plan that's not overly intricate, but provides all of the documentations that have an interrelationship with each other and allows them to have a really firm, solid estate plan that avoids the probate nightmare and that is provided to them at a very reasonable price, because part of the site requires their interaction and participation, if you will, in their own estate plan.
Yeah. What I have a little background on this because I've seen it from the inside, and what Bill offers is pretty incredible. But why don't you explain to the audience here how this is different? The approach that you've taken is tremendously different than what you might see online in some of the more public legal websites where you can download and buy and that sort of thing. How is protectyourestate365.com different than that?
Well, that's a great question, and I think the real powerful difference, if you will, is the fact that at these prices, you're not going to get an estate plan anywhere, unless you do one of the programs online, the do-it-yourself programs or a LegalZoom or this kind of stuff. The difference being that here you get an attorney to do the plan for the same, and in many cases lower price than you would at any of these DIY sites. And I emphasize that because when you go to LegalZoom, for example, you say you want a living trust. Well, you're going to get a living trust. and you're going to get a reduced price, but you're not going to get powers of attorney. You're not going to get your HIPAA declarations. You're not going to get your powers of attorney for healthcare. You're not going to get your trust declaration. There's a number of things that you won't get that you do get here, but more importantly, you get me doing the documentation just as if you came and visited me at my office. The interesting aspect about this is it caters to families at an affordable price and also to families who are seriously interested in getting an estate plan. Why? Because it requires you to opt in, fill out the typical form that I would have you fill out if you came to my office for an estate plan. And once you fill it out, you just click submit and it comes directly to my email. I now have your personal information. And more importantly, Rick, I now know that you are dead serious about getting an estate plan, or else you wouldn't provide me this information in the first place.
Yeah, and in a few minutes we'll touch on the website. We'll share this with the audience so you can take a look and you can help walk us through. But when you refer to personal information, you're talking about personal information that pertains to the information that you would ask during an interview with someone who wants a trust, right?
Sure. All of the personal family information, like who your children are, who your spouse is, where your assets are located, the account numbers for your assets, things that really go toward saying, hey, I want to have this trust done. I want to have this trust funded, and I want to make it operative, so I no longer have to worry about the probate nightmare. It in effect also requires you to provide me with your personal property and your real estate information, because included also in this plan is an automatic preparation of a deed for you to transfer your property into the living trust. All you got to do is take the information I provide to you and take it down to the courthouse, pay a small filing fee, and bingo, you've now funded your trust with your real estate.
Yeah, that's great. It's certainly a hands-on, very complete type of program here that Bill is offering, and much different than what you might typically find online, because while some of the initial information that you do is online that you're providing to Bill, the rest of the or the complete trust itself and all the documentation and all the interaction questions and that sort of thing is done directly with Bill. In a maybe it could be just a phone call, it could be a meeting, or maybe even just an online conference call like what we're doing here. But in any event, it's a very, very complete program. And if you want to learn more about it, here is the URL, protectyourestate365.com. And that's available now. You can take a look at that. Bill, why don't you talk a little bit about how you decided to offer this at such an affordable price? What was the reason behind that? And then you can share with us what that all includes and how much the trust, what you provide is how much that costs.
I sort of started thinking there's a lot there. I wanted to cater to the middle class. Let's use that terminology. There's a lot of people that have very, very wealthy estates that need a lot of different protection, very costly protection, because the documentation is very intricate. They need asset protection in addition to an estate plan. They have tax concerns because of the estate tax. All the intricacies of providing gifts and the gift tax. There are a lot of those types of people that we as estate planners cater to, but I didn't want the middle class, the people who need the standard trust package, to be forgotten. And I realized that some of the prices that are actually reasonable prices, because these types of plans go for between $3,000 and $5,000 easily by a lot of attorneys. I started to realize that, hey, rather than coming to the office and meeting with the attorney, spending a ton of time on the phone with the attorney, having the attorney bill you for this, bill you for that, why not just have a very straightforward plan for most people who fall into the category of having a modest to average size estate, and provide them with a tax deduction of sorts. Not really a tax deduction, but in other words, a a cost benefit by providing them this estate plan at a very, very affordable price. Interestingly enough, there is a whole series of precursors, if you will, educational material on the site that people can read to decide about, do I want an estate plan? Now, I'm one that thinks that you should always have one, but nevertheless, it provides people with a fact page with questions and answers. It provides people with a multitude of videos. I think there's something like 10 or 11 videos, on there that provide you with a short 2-minute synopsis of why estate plans are important. What is a power of attorney? What's included in my PYE 365 or Protect Your Estate 365 plan? How does a trust actually work? There's a whole array of videos in addition to a typical fact page, as I mentioned, where people can go and just at their leisure click on this stuff and get straightforward, succinct answers to the most inquired about topics when it comes to forming an estate plan. And then in addition, there's a link on the site where you can get a deficiency checklist, where you can fill out this checklist. Now, this is totally for free. There's no opt-in. You get the deficiency checklist. You find out if you need a trust, and you have that at your personal disposal. The only time there's an opt-in is when you want to fill out a worksheet, and the only time you fill out a worksheet is when you've made the decision, yes, I do want the estate plan, and I want WFB Legal Consulting Incorporated to prepare it for me.
Yeah, I was just doing a screen share for the audience out there. Those of you who are actually watching us online, there's a multitude of educational material, if anything, that Bill has provided for you, from just the simple FAQs to what Protect Your Estate 365 is all about, how it works, and the things that Bill listed. So if anything, this is a great educational resource for you. The other thing here that Bill's also provided is a calculator to see what your tax savings may be by doing a trust. So very, very complete site. Go ahead and visit it at Protect Your Estate.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Rick, I didn't mean to interrupt, but this tax calculator, what's interesting about this is it has 3 steps to it, and it allows you to do an asset valuation of your estate and determine what you would save by getting a living trust and avoiding probate. And at the bottom of that particular calculator page, which again you can click on and go to for free, totally for free, and fill out the calculator, it's got a ton of definitions that I comprised on there that basically talks about gift tax exemption amounts and all kinds of transfers that you may want to make, and what the implications are of some of the things that you might want to have as objectives. It just defines also different types of specific assets, so what falls into the category of assets when you want to take advantage of this plan. So it's we haven't mentioned the price on the plan. But I think it's worthy of notation, and that is $12.99. Now that means that you paid me $12.99, and you get a multitude of documentations. You get a trust package, not just a living trust. And if you scroll down on the website, you can see the part where it says how plans work and what's included. And you can see the 10 items there that are included in your estate plan, and that would be a living trust, a pour-over will, healthcare directives, powers of attorney for assets, guardian nomination if you have children, a deed of transfer, as we mentioned earlier, HIPAA authorizations for the release of medical records and medical treatment should you become incapacitated, a trust certification to take into your lending institutions and investment institutions to tell them that you have a trust instead of providing them with the whole trust document, which is private, a property inventory list, and a declaration of trust. So you get all of these items where on most sites you would go and you would pay for these individually, and by the time you do that, now you may be approaching the $2,000 to $3,000 mark, which a lot of these sites don't tell you. They'll say, "Hey, come get a living trust for, I don't know, $8.99 or $9.99 or whatever." But why would you want to do that when you need all of these other documents, in my opinion, to make this trust operative? In other words, it does operate on its own, but all of these interrelationships between the trust and these other documents I just mentioned, I think are critical to make sure that your family is taken care of should something happen to you, not just in terms of death, but incapacitation.
Yeah, it's worthy of repeating then what you said at the top of the show. As we look at some of these sites online, and we go to a site like LegalZoom that offers a lot of different products, when they go and purchase a trust, it doesn't even touch most of the things that you just listed here and what's included. Is that correct?
Well, yeah. In other words, if you say you want a trust, you're going to get a trust. If you say you want a will, you're going to get a will. You're not going to get all of these things unless you decide to click on the buttons that provide an entire array of documentation. And my theory behind this, if you will, I guess, or my reasoning behind this is there's two aspects to this that I've just touched upon earlier. One is you don't have to click on documents individually to get everything that you need. That's that I have listed here. And secondarily, remember, this is so critical. When you go to these sites, they're putting in information that you provide them. Here you have an attorney, an estate planning attorney, preparing the documents on my site and making sure that everything is the way it should be legally for you when they're emailed to you. So you don't have to meet with me. You get the documents. You get instructions on what documents have to be notarized. You do have to pay a notary fee of $10 per signature to a notary. That does not go to me. That has nothing to do with me. And that wouldn't go to me even if you met me in my office. That's a notary fee that everybody has to pay to the notary. But nevertheless, you're getting all of these things sent to you with instructions on what to do. So you take the attorney out of the equation for purposes of having all of these excess charges, but you have an attorney in the equation at the most important point, and that's at the preparation stage of all these documents.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like I said, I've had a chance to look from the inside in regards to what Bill is offering in here, and it's extremely complete. I know you've shared this with some initial beta testers, so to speak, to evaluate this, and it's amazing. If you're an attorney out there and you look at this, you may think otherwise in how you're doing business as far as providing products like this to your clients, because Bill is, in my opinion, Bill's just crushed it here. And for the consumer, this is extremely complete, very thorough. I know Bill is very passionate about protecting others, and if you go to his WFB website, that's his tagline, is proudly protecting others. And right. Here's the same case in the development of this product. So I think you'll find this extremely beneficial to you if you are considering a trust or looking in the future of developing one. Go to Protect Your Estate 365, take a look at his website, educate yourself on the things that Bill has provided for free here. And if you have questions, please reach out to Bill in regards to that. So as we wrap up
this is much like our show, Rick. We provide free information. There's a lot of free info. I mean, there's a wealth of free information on this site, which I think gives people the opportunity to take it. Who doesn't like to take advantage of free stuff? I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't want to take advantage of free stuff. So here you have it. And this is the new wave, right? This is the new age, right? This is the internet phenomenon that has now progressed to the point where you don't even have to meet with a lawyer, but nobody seemed to make the connection. Okay, I don't want to have to meet with a lawyer, but I want a lawyer. Well, this gives you the perfect opportunity to have a lawyer prepare your documents and then go ahead and do it online by way of just sending the lawyer the documentation he needs. Now, the other critical thing we didn't mention, I want to mention real quickly, is this price would include any follow-up phone calls that I need to make or you need to make to me. I do not charge clients for estate planning phone calls. So if they need to call me, the number's on the site. If they need to, if I need to talk to them, I give them a holler. So I don't see a downside here at all. If the worst comes to worst, just go on the site and fill out the efficiency checklist, which is totally for free, and see if you think you need a trust. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, exactly. Well, like Bill said, this site is jam-packed with value and free information. It's worth the time to take a look. The URL for the site here is on the screen, Protect Your Estate 365, and Bill's contact phone number is just below that. But should they have any questions for you, Bill, what's the quickest and easiest way they can bounce that information off of you?
Well, the phone number you're giving right there, Rick, or there's another phone number, 949-698-6222. protectyourestate365.com, which you've already mentioned. And of course, WFBlegalconsulting.com has some information on it as well. And I believe we have a link to protectyourestate365.com on WFB website. Finally, I want to mention very quickly, if you are in need of probate, the site does mention what probate is and the fact that we can do probate and also litigation. A lot of attorneys do paperwork. A lot of attorneys try cases. I do both. So if you run into a problem where somebody challenges your trust documents, you have an attorney who can litigate the case for you without having to pay for another litigator to get familiar with the case and then, start the fee charge all over again. So that's basically it. I hope everybody takes advantage of it by at least looking at the site and deciding whether or not they, in fact, need to protect your estate, because I think you do. And while I may be biased, I think I got a few years of experience behind me when I say that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Folks, if you're interested, go to the site, protectyourestate365.com. If you know somebody who is in need of a trust or is considering a trust and everything that Bill has shared with us today, encourage them to go to the site. Check it out. There's a ton of free information here. And if anything, you'll be in a better position to educate yourself once you do make the decision to go ahead. And in the meantime, you'll make a friend with Bill, right, Bill?
Always glad to help anybody out there in need. You're right when you said that protecting others is what I have a passion in, and I'll be happy to do it. All you have to do is go to the site, click, or make a phone call. That's all that's required.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Bill. Again, viewers and listeners out there, thanks for joining us. We are the Bottled Business Sense Show. I'm Rick Moscoso, and on behalf of Bill Bernard on the other side, we will see you again next week on Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Take care, everybody, and have a great week.